Pretty inspirational, huh? I really accentuate the scenery. Just this whole ensemble I have going on here just really accentuates the scenery. Really brings up the place. That's the duty of every Gallantian, to bring up the place, to just add to the environmental beauty in the environment around you.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about pyramid sets as opposed to just straight sets. Now, I've talked about straight sets as opposed to supersets before, so this is a different video. It's not the same as that. This video is going to be dealing with, should you be doing the pyramid technique as far as lifting as heavy as possible every single workout, or should you be doing straight sets and burning out the muscle and that sort of thing, you know, repping out, doing 10 reps and then your reps start to drop, then you do 8 reps, then you're doing 6, like whatever, like you're just doing as many as you can. So somebody just asked me about pyramid sets and should they be doing that or not. And the truth is that you should be doing all sorts of different types of training. I've talked about this before because each type of training is going to hit a different weak link in your system. Some types of training will hit your nervous system more, some types of training will hit your slow twitch fibers more, and some will hit your fast twitch fibers more, or a combination of all three, but just different percentages depending on what type of technique you're using. Here's the thing, with the compound lifts, because I never recommend doing super heavy weight on isolations, but for the compound lifts such as bench press, squats, deadlift, movements that include more than one joint, that's a compound lift, right? You're using more than one muscle group, the range of motion is taking place around more than one joint, so this is something to take into account. Big truck coming, gonna make lots of noise, he's gonna splash me, don't you dare splash me. Okay, where was I? Sorry, I got interrupted. People always interrupt me when I film. Movements that take place around more than one joint are called compounds, so it is naturally safer to be doing super heavy weights with those compounds. So naturally, this will lend itself more towards the pyramid type training system from time to time. Now, in my life, I use the pyramid system here and there. I would pyramid up on bench press, I would pyramid up on squat. I would basically have these certain types of lifts that I would concentrate on strength markers in, and then I would rep out with other exercises, or I would pick another day with the same exercise, like bench press or squat, and I would have a rep out type day. I find it's very useful to be able to have different days. Like, you don't have to always have the perfect workout. Like, too many people out there are saying, I have to put everything into one workout, otherwise somehow the workout's crap, right? They're trying to do the pyramid system, then they're trying to do repping out, then they're doing giant sets, then they're doing supersets. No, you don't have to do this. You don't have to burn yourself out. You can actually just concentrate on one technique, put your heart and soul into that technique, and then leave the other techniques for another workout. That is something you can do, and that's something that I have done from time to time. It helps me mentally get ready for a workout. So say I say, okay, I want to squat 500 today, or 550, or say I want to put 6 plates aside on that squat. I want to concentrate purely on all the mental force and the willpower towards doing that, and then from there I'll just go off and do something easy, maybe another body part or something like that, but I might say that's it for legs for the day. Pyramid sets are useful in increasing your strength as far as moving yourself into a territory that you're not familiar with. So how pyramiding works is that you are using the first 3, 4, 5 sets or 6 sets just to get the groove down, just to warm up and to make sure everything is firing on all cylinders. So as you're moving up in weight, you're saying, okay, everything feels good, everything feels good, everything feels good. Now, if you get 3 sets in and you start feeling a tweak somewhere, you start feeling like something is pulling funny, that is a sure sign that you back off or that you do not go heavier, right? So that's one of the benefits of pyramiding, is that you're actually feeling yourself through a process, but you're not just jumping into this heavy weight after a couple warm-ups and then possibly pulling something or tearing something. Now, the thing is with pyramiding up too, is that all the sets leading up to the end set, in theory, should not be to failure. That's one mistake a lot of people make, is that they pyramid up, but they are hitting close to failure on all those sets before, so they're basically wearing themselves out by the time they get to that last set. Now, you can imagine where I'm going with this. If you are conserving all of your energy in the first 4 sets, so that way you can just give her like as hard as you can on that last set, you're going to be able to lift a little bit more weight, and you're going to be able to strain a little harder, and you're going to be able to challenge yourself a little bit more. So it is naturally going to be a little bit more dangerous. Even though you've been careful in those first 4 sets, it's going to be a little bit more dangerous. So you're pushing yourself into territory that your body has not gone into.
Now I'm just going to interrupt myself here just for a second. I'll just show you some rear delts here. This is a great exercise for some rear delts. So while I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about a safer way to use pyramid sets, which is a common practice of powerlifters. A lot of times they'll pyramid up in weight, but they are not always going to their maximal poundages. Sometimes they're going to 80% or 75% or 85% of their maximum lift. And that's how they're able to pyramid more often. So more often they're in the heavier weight category, but they're always perfecting that groove with a higher percentile of their weight. But they're by no means straining every single workout in a 1 rep max or a 2 rep max. They're not straining. They're actually trying to make sure that their muscles are not hitting fatigue, but their nervous system is becoming perfected for that groove to handle that heavier weight. So this is the reason why you can see some powerlifters using pyramid sets all the time. They're not training for bodybuilding. They are training not necessarily for muscle mass. They're training for strength. They're not training like a bodybuilder. So that said, if you want to pyramid all the time, yeah, you're not training like a bodybuilder. You will gain some strength, but at some point you will have to go to hypertrophy in order to get that muscle mass gain that you're looking for as a bodybuilder.
Now, if you're careful, I think this is a technique that you can use from time to time, but I do find that there's a lot of people that overuse this technique. So their body starts to respond negatively in a way. They start to overtrain, or they don't necessarily put on any more strength, or they're just getting joint pain or problems because they're doing too heavy too often. So pyramiding, I think, is very useful. So I would do it once a week or once every 2 weeks in a body part. If you really feel confident in that area, the area feels good, it doesn't feel like it's prone to injury. Because if an area is prone to injury, if you've experienced a lot of pains or joint aches, or kind of maybe you had a tear in the past or something like that, it is not necessarily a good technique for you to push into that 1 or 2 reps of strain your ass off type of mentality. I would not really recommend that often. But I have to be honest with you, I do use the pyramid system from time to time, and I will go up in weight. But the thing is that I'm so in tune with my body that I will listen to all the subtle things that are going on. Like for instance, last night I squatted 4 plates for reps. I'm doing low bar squats. My depth is different now because I'm bending over more, because I'm doing the low bar, as you can see in these clips. And the fact is that I moved up to 4 plates. Now, I could have easily went to 455 or 500. I could have went there. I felt strong enough to go there, but it feels like my body, my back was feeling good, but at the same time I felt it's a little bit tight on one side. It wasn't sore or anything, but just something wasn't quite perfectly aligned or balanced. So sometimes I will back myself off on sets, just because this is wisdom, right? Because back in the day, I never backed myself off on anything. What I would do is just push through, and no matter what, I'd have a vision in my mind, and no matter what, I'm lifting 5 plates today, or 6 plates, or whatever I'm doing, and come hell or high water, that's going to happen, right? And of course, you end up tweaking yourself and learning from your mistakes after the first 100 times. You know, the first 100 times you make a mistake, fool me first 100 times, fool me 101, then shame on me type idea. You know what I mean? So basically what I learned was that I learned what the signs were in my body, whether it is the right time to train heavy or not. And this takes time to build this wisdom. So you will learn sometimes the hard way, sometimes the easy way, but hopefully some of my tips here are going to help you not have to learn the hard way too often. That said, the pyramid system, great system for gaining strength. But when you want hypertrophy now from that strength, so say now you've got that better groove, you can lift a little bit heavier weight. Say you're lifting 300 pounds for the first time and you lifted it for 2 reps. I guarantee you when you go to rep out with 225 now, 225 is going to feel lighter. So you're going to get an increased capacity for hypertrophy, and this will give you some great results. So I find when you use both systems together, you get much more of a synergistic and effective effect. That's going to be my thing. Effective effect. I'm going to just use effective effect. No, it sounds good. I don't have to learn any new words. I'm just going to use the phrase effective effect. Okay, stop trolling, man. Stop trolling. I know you're watching. Just because you're sitting there all quiet and stuff, don't think that I don't know you're there. You just be quiet. Effective effect is a very legitimate phrase. Sorry, I had to turn the troll cam off. It was annoying me. The troll cam is pissing me off. So that said, when you're doing the lighter weight, 225 or 200 pounds or whatever, you know, you're going to feel like you're going to be able to get more reps, and you are going to get more reps, and you're going to basically be able to challenge a different part of the system much more effectively. So sometimes it is good to push into those heavier weights, as long as you do it intelligently with a good strategy and not just strain for the sake of straining all the time. And then from there you go into the hypertrophy movements where you're doing a lot more endurance training, or you're doing you know, higher reps, not necessarily endurance, but strength endurance training, 20 reps, 30 reps, 40 reps, even sets of 50. These reps will pay off because they'll help pump blood flow into the system, help your fast twitch fibers also recover from that heavy work, and possibly help the joints rebuild as well, because you're pumping blood in there and then the joints benefit from that extra blood flow. So what's more effective? Both are effective. You just have to make sure you don't overuse the pyramid type system, because it can have a tendency to overwork the joints, and it can have a tendency to overtrain you a bit because you're performing the heavy weight too often, and you're not necessarily going to be hitting a lot of those strength endurance fibers, which are also responsible for muscle hypertrophy and can add to your strength. Pyramiding can add to strength, but also repping out can also add to strength. And when you put them together, you get this like super Voltron type robot, which basically makes you a true Gallantian. Like watching Battlestar Galactica? So I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. And if you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. And thanks a lot to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. Oh, it looks so Gallantian out there. Oh, goodness gracious, a Gallantian. The shot, you know what? The shot's just not as nice without me in it. I don't know, there's something missing. There's something missing without me in that shot.